Hello, good evening. It is Friday. The best way to start the weekend is, of course, over at Arsenal, the Arsenal Women's Channel. This is, of course, Richard Andreas Talk, AWFC, and it's been another pretty decent week, let's be honest. Manchester City, of course, the league leaders, were beaten at the Emirates last weekend. What a great game that was. What a great performance. We'll talk about that. Midweek, of course, we went to Belgium for the Champions League, the first leg of the knockout stage match. Another good, impressive Arsenal performance in that one. And, of course, it's another big week, isn't it? We've got a game, of course, at the weekend in the WSL is back, and we are going to Brighton in another tough game. And then, of course, it is the second leg of the quarterfinals. So lots and lots to get through, of course. All your comments and questions as well. It's all coming up the other side of this. And, of course, back from his jet setting around Europe this week. It's been a busy old week, hasn't it? Andreas is with us. How you doing? It's been a busy week for you.
Yeah, it is. Good evening, everybody. And, yeah, I'm fine. And I'm home for a few days, yes. And just do you know what we are?
Yeah, that's great.
That's what we are. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a great week. Nobody expected 6 points out of the games away at Chelsea and at home against City. And then being through to the quarterfinals after the first leg, I think we are through. And so this is very positive how things developed for us, yes.
Yeah, I mean, let's not jump the gun quite yet. We're not quite through, but I mean, it will be amazing, wouldn't it, if we didn't seal the job this coming week, of course. But you know, it has been a good week, and yeah, back-to-back wins, of course, against Chelsea and Man City. Wow, we'll come on to that actually straight away, because only one place we can really start, and that last weekend at the Emirates, and quite an incredible game it was in the end, wasn't it? So Manchester City, of course, the league leaders, potential WSL champions, and I mean, in a way, it was a different type of Arsenal performance, wasn't it? Because it wasn't an all-out attacking game, but probably was never going to be. But what it did turn out to be was another tactical masterclass from Renee in a big game. She's done this a lot already in her short time as Arsenal manager, and once again I thought she got her tactics absolutely spot on. Yeah, a couple of injury issues that we had. Of course, Stina was out with an injury, so Olivia had to play centre forward at the beginning of the game, which was not seen her play there before for us. Of course, it is a position that she has played in her career before. And it was just a bit like the Champions League final in some ways. It was a defensive masterclass, really, wasn't it? I mean, we didn't really give Man City a sniff. And this is a team that, you know, had won 11, 12 WSL games in a row. They'd scored 5 against Chelsea the week before. And they've come to the Emirates, and to restrict them to so few opportunities. I mean, that was just an incredible defensive performance, not just from the defence and the goalkeeper, but from the whole team. Defensively, we were just so brilliant in that game. And you know, following on from the Chelsea game, a clean sheet against Chelsea, a clean sheet against Manchester City. I mean, these are the type of performances and the type of results that win you WSL titles, which makes some of our drop points earlier in the season, some of our flat performance, so much more frustrating now. Look at these last 2 performances. You know, if we could have played like this in a WSL earlier in the season in some of those other games, we'd be up there now, much closer to Man City, maybe even ahead of them. You know, if we hadn't dropped so many stupid points earlier in the season, if we can play like this, like we did against Chelsea, like we did against City, we're good enough to beat anybody. But like what we did against Barcelona, Lyon, you know, all these great teams that we can beat, we have beaten. It's frustrating that we're not doing it more often. But the Man City game, I mean, Andreas, obviously you was there at the Emirates, a great vlog as always. I mean, it was such a good, strong defensive performance, wasn't it? We just didn't look like we were going to concede a goal in that game.
Yeah, overall, it was a very strong performance. And don't forget, we played a team who has won 13 games in a row, only lost the opening game and destroyed Chelsea 5-1. And they are scoring goals over goals during the season. They scored the most goals, the best attacking line in the WSL. And we spoke last week about their about their attacking threat. Bunny Shaw with Miedema, Lauren Hemp, Caroline, unbelievable. And if you look at this game, I think it was, you said a tactical masterclass, but also the performance from our players. I want to mention Lotta Wubbenmoy. Lotta kept Bunny Shaw in her pockets for 90 minutes. There was not a single chance for Shaw to score, and it was just brilliant from the first minutes. Lotta dominated her, and she was always quicker. Not that she is faster. We all know Lotta doesn't have the pace of players like Bunny Shaw, but she was faster in her mind. She was reading the game better, and there were other players. Kim Little, outstanding once again. You can't say anything about her that is not already said. Brilliant. And except the first minute in which Viv Miedema had this first shot on goal, this was a threatening start. But then I think in the first 5 minutes, City had a corner which Daphne missed to clear. This was a good start from City, but then we controlled the game. We controlled City, and we dominated the midfield. We kept their attackers quiet. You haven't seen anything from Shaw, from Caroline was subbed off. Miedema had a few good scenes, but second half she had 2 situations in the box. Lauren Hemp, the first time I really saw something from her was in the second half. So brilliant performance from the whole team, and I think they were prepared perfectly by our staff, by Renee and all relevant staff members. They had clear tactical mindset, and every player knew what is expected, what they have to do, and they followed this plan perfectly. And I think one of the ideas was man marking Bunny Shaw by Lotta. It worked. And Foxy had a great game. Katie McCabe had a better game than over most time of the first half of the season. The idea of starting Olivia Jones as number 9, surprising for everybody. Renee said Olivia had 2.5 training sessions as a number 9, but they didn't tell her too much, or didn't give her too much information. They said, play on intuition, do what you think is the right thing at the moment. And then our goal, you can't play better. This pass from Mariana was perfect. And then, Olivia had the pace to run over Rebecca Nack and around the goalkeeper. Perfect. You couldn't do it better. And the only thing was that we were only 1-0 up at halftime. I think we should have been 2-0 at least, because we dominated. We were the better team, and you had to ask yourself, how will City come out of halftime? And they came out very early. That showed they had a plan. They wanted to start from front feet from the very first second, but we controlled them. We have to talk about this situation with Mariana when she cleared or fouled against Hemp. I think we were lucky in this situation. If the referee says this is a foul and she gives a free kick, then yellow card or red card, both possible. This could have changed the game. In this situation, we were lucky. Then there were, I think, 2 situations when Viv was in the box and everybody threw their body in on the line and to clear. It was a fantastic performance, and we can all only be proud of the team performance. of the tactics, how they set it on the pitch, and all in all, it was deserved win, and that's fantastic. Everybody said there will be a lot of goals. It was only one goal. Another proof how good we defended, how good we were defensively, and and City couldn't complain. I think their manager afterwards said Arsenal was the better team, and that's the point. We were the better team, and we deserved the win. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were the better team, there's no doubt. And I say it was a slightly different Arsenal performance to what we usually expect to see, don't we? You know, instead of the free-flowing attacking football, which we did play at times in the game. Obviously, the goal came from a fantastic bit of football, brilliant from Mariona, brilliant finish from Leuven, and we had one or two other good moments in attack as well. But it was more about just I thought the organisation of the whole team was fantastic, and yeah, I did feel for the first time, probably forever, that we did seem to get a few refereeing decisions go in our favour during that game. I thought more so than we normally do. Usually we're on the wrong end of those kind of decisions, and in the end, obviously the Mariona one on Lauren Hemp is the big one, isn't it? I mean, I think all day long that's a free kick, probably a red card, and we definitely got away with that there. There's no question, and there was one or two other incidents that I thought went in our favour, but you know, overall we deserved that little bit of fortune maybe for the way that we played the game. And yeah, you know, sometimes they go your way and often they don't, so we can't, you know, no one can begrudge us maybe one big decision going in our favour for a change. You know, look at the Chelsea game at home, for example. You know, and if that means that we lost 2 points there but we gained those 2 points on Sunday, then it's kind of evened itself out, I guess. But it's not really about that one decision, the game. It was about how we played, and you're right, we totally deserved that win. And probably 1-0 was more flattering to Man City in the overall scheme of the way the game works out. We could maybe have added another goal or two, and we would have deserved that, actually. So yeah, that was, I say, on the back of the Chelsea game, our last WSL game, on the back of the obviously winning the World Championship in between. We're finally now seeing the Arsenal team that had sort of gone missing for the first half of the season in many games. You know, we had the odd performance here and there, didn't we? Where we looked like ourselves, but not consistently. But now it seems as though we've got this momentum built up now, belief maybe as well, because we've now beaten some big teams with some really good performances. And I think that, you know, the fact that we're still so much to play for still in the season, it's not like we're right at the end and it's all done, but we've still got a lot to play for. You know, yes, the league title does seem a bit out of reach, you know, with the lead that City have got, but who knows, you know, will they have a wobble at some stage? They might do, and all we can do is keep winning our games and be close enough to them. If they do have a bit of a wobble, we can put more pressure on them. So, you know, we can't change what happened earlier on in the season. Now it's done. We've thrown away some stupid points, and we've got a lot of ground to make up with very few games to do it. But you know, we're now showing exactly what we're about, what this team's about, and this is with injuries as well. You know, we've had players missing in these games. It's not like we've gone with a full strength team. We haven't, and we've had to find a way, and we found a way to win these big games, and that kind of gives me hope now that the season can end with something quite special again, whatever that might be. There's still a lot to play for, and I want to see, you know, I'm excited now to see where this season is going to end up, because we're starting to look the real deal at the minute, at this moment in time. You know, we're finding ways to win games in different ways. You know, the Chelsea performance was totally different to the Man City performance, but they were the performances that were needed in that particular game, and that's the type of thing that we did in the Champions League last season. You know, we played a different way for the different opponents that we were facing, and changed things that we needed to change to win those games. And that's what happened. And that's what happened in the last 2 games in the WSL. And that's what we're going to have to continue to do now for the rest of the season, if it's going to end in the way that we all hope it could again, and give us some more great memories, which I'm sure we want. On the moves, with us, how you doing? John as well says good evening. How you doing? Good to see you all in the chat. John says, I think the last 2 games shows how we were in a bit of a hangover after winning the Champions League. Yeah, maybe we seem to be pretty much back to normal, recovered finally. A big push for the rest of the season. Yeah, but maybe was it a Champions League hangover? Yeah, maybe it was. Perhaps it's difficult to know exactly. It seems like now, looking back on it now, yes, maybe it took us a while to completely recover from that experience, you know, the high of that, and to lift yourself to go again, it's tough, isn't it? And maybe we did struggle a bit on that. Maybe that's part of the. I don't think it's the whole reason, but yeah, I think it probably is part of the reason. But if you're a big club and you know, big clubs win big trophies on a regular basis, you can't worry about what you've just won. You've got to think about the next trophy ahead of you, and maybe that's where the focus was maybe a little bit off track at the beginning of the season. But it's a lesson, isn't it? And let's hope that René's learned from that. And if we do win a big trophy this season, that next season will be much more in the right mindset to start the season well and go on and be able to challenge for big trophies again, because that's what winning a one-off trophy isn't enough, is it, for Arsenal? We've got to keep doing it consistently like Chelsea have done. That's what we need to do. Matthew's with us as well. They're doing good to see you. LG says there, Frank Kirby said big teams now tend to underestimate Arsenal because we usually don't get results we should against lesser teams. That's why we tend to win one-off big games. I wouldn't say big teams underestimate us. I don't think they do. I don't think anybody's underestimated us, but I mean, obviously, it's a fact that we do drop points in the lesser games quite often. We've done that. It's been a feature for a while, hasn't it? It's not just now. It's been for a few seasons, and that has cost us, I suppose. But I don't know. I do think I think it's a mixture of, well, no, it's more us raising our game, raising our level for those big games. Not the other teams underestimating us. Us actually raising our level for those games. And it's like René said about the games that really matter. They all really matter, really, don't they? But the point she was making is a fair one. When we do play those big games, that we do raise our level. So the other teams maybe aren't expecting us to reach to do that as much. I don't know. It's going to start to become a thing. They're going to start to know that we are, and it's going to become harder probably. But you know, René looks as though in a one-off game she's tactically really, really good. In the big one-off games, it's just that the rest of it she needs to maybe improve and work on. But hopefully she will. She's still learning, isn't she, at the end of the day? John says City 2-0 up at home against Leicester in the first. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting anything other than Man City winning that game. You know, we need them to drop points, and I'm sure they will. This wasn't one of the games I was expecting them to drop points in, let's be honest. Leicester bottom of the table, of course. So, yeah, that's not a surprise, is it? LG says, while Aviv is still an intelligent player, it was evident that she's lost a yard of pace and she is slow in the box. That's why we sold her. How can a 35-year-old Kim Little beat you for pace? Yeah, that was an interesting incident in the game. Mind you, the most interesting incident in that game was when Beth and kind of collided with Viv. They were sort of battling for the ball, weren't they? And Viv went down injured. And Beth almost didn't know what to do for a second. Do I look after Viv, see if she's okay, or do I get on with the game? And she was sort of looking around, not sure what to do for a brief second, which I thought was quite amusing, actually. And that was quite a nice moment in the end. And Viv didn't look very happy, did she, when Beth went to her? She got up and she didn't look very happy. So I'm sure they had a good discussion about that after the game. I mean, that would have been quite fun. But that was one of the highlights for me, actually. But no, you're right. I mean, there was a couple of top moments, wasn't there, where Viv from a few years ago would have took a shot early and maybe scored, and now she's taken extra touch and she's not quite as sharp as she was. But that's obvious, you know, when you get older, it happens. You know, she's been playing at a top level since she's been 16 years old. So of course, you know, she's going to be running out of steam a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Kim Little in that game, wow, just what a performance! Incredible, just incredible. I mean, that's probably her best game for a while, actually. I thought she just dominated that game. I mean, I thought looking at the team, we were a bit short in midfield, and then suddenly Kim's in. It's like, well, she was playing as like three players on her own, so it didn't matter. You know, she was just everywhere. It was just what a performance! Just brilliant. And like you said, yeah, I mean, you know, if a 35-year-old is coming back at you when they're 20 yards away and coming back and tackling you and winning a ball off you, then you've got to look at yourself and think, what's going on here? But brilliant from Kim, absolutely. LG says that we've now won 5 games in a row. I just had a haircut. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, everyone has their haircut, don't they, if you win 5 games in a row. John says City 4-0 up now. Well, yeah, obviously. But that just goes to show, doesn't it? They're a team that score goals. They've done it all season, and yet they came to the Emirates and they couldn't even have they had a shot, let's be honest, in 90 minutes. So, yeah. But, yeah, we wasn't expecting Leicester, as much as it would have been nice, we wasn't expecting any favours from Leicester tonight, were we? Let's be fair. So, yeah, a brilliant performance and just another step forward for this team over the last few weeks. We've been building and building and building, and we're heading. You can feel now. I mean, I thought the first half of the season, even the first couple of games when we came back after Christmas, we mentioned it on here, it all felt very frustrating, all felt very, I don't know, like we were going through the motions a little bit at times. It felt like that. And suddenly now you can see some real momentum building at the right time of the season as well, when suddenly everything's reaching a big point in the season and suddenly we're there, aren't we? We're now looking a proper team. No matter who's playing, who's injured, who's out of the team, who's on the bench, who's coming on, everybody is now contributing and we're looking together and we're looking as though I've got to be honest, I didn't see this coming a few weeks ago. I didn't see it coming. I was worried about these. We all said we expected Chelsea to beat us. A lot of people expected City to beat. Look at Greg's prediction on the vlog. You know, Greg, who normally says we're going to win 10-0 against everyone, was saying City would beat us. So this is what our mindset was all the same. It wasn't just us. I think it was people were getting a bit frustrated and couldn't see where this was coming from. I mean, what do you think's changed, Andreas? Because obviously there has been a change, hasn't there? The last 3 or 4 weeks, it seems to have been a massive change. Was it just a win at Chelsea's given us belief? But going into that game, we played so well against Chelsea. Something must have changed before that, because some of those performances in the previous part of the season just wasn't good enough, was they? And suddenly now, what do you think's been the main thing that's changed?
Difficult to say. We all remember this article from The Athletic about uproar in the dressing room, etc. at the end of the year. And I think maybe this also had an influence that the players or the staff sat together and said, what about this article? Is it right? What can we do to improve the situation? I think they had some tougher meetings. I don't know whether with Renee, with the staff, or the players themselves, but something must have changed because they look as a team now. It's you can see this in warm-up or after the games. They stand together and it's another they give another impression about how they act together. And I think there is a new togetherness, and maybe it was good that this article came out and things were discussed openly, and I'm sure discussed internally. This is, I think, a point that has changed. And then the Christmas break, and probably Renee and her staff, they had also discussions about tactics, about how to approach the next block of games and what's not working, what should be done differently, and they changed it. Maybe it's small things, a few small things that come together and bring out one big change, one big development. Players with more confidence. See the development of Olivia Smith after her red card in the League Cup. She scored in every game, and she's so motivated and integrated in the team. And players like Katie McCabe or Mariona, who had a slow start in the season, to say it, not too hard. And then they developed and are back to their normal level. Other players who got minutes, like Lotta, they grew into the season, and all these small pieces add together to one big step. And at the moment, it looks the team has confidence. They know the tactics. They know every player knows what is expected from her, and they seem to stand together as one family, as they were a year ago or so, but not in the first half of the season. I think these things have changed.
That's a good point about the article, actually. It does seem as though maybe we can trace it back to that point, because, maybe they felt as though, obviously, they maybe had a point to prove against that article, maybe to say, no, we are together, there isn't this, or maybe the fact that it was pointed out maybe made them think, you know what, we need to look at this, we need to look at ourselves, and maybe like you said, that at the time it seemed, I know a lot of people are criticizing the article and stuff, but maybe actually it's done us a big favor. I mean, it's done everybody a big favor by that article coming out in the way that it did and the time that it did. So I've not really thought about that, but now you mention it, I think that could be a big factor in it, actually. That could be a big factor, because it does seem as though everybody now is pulling in the same direction, whereas before I didn't get the feeling that was always the case. And that maybe has been a big shift, and that's made a big difference, because you can see it quite clearly on the pitch at what a difference that makes. And yeah, some players, was it a hangover from the Champions League? Some players maybe were they tired? Were they emotionally drained from all of that? And then the start of the season they were poor. Mariona, you mentioned Katie McCabe, that they wasn't at their best at all. And now we're starting to, even Kim Little, none of them really were at their best. I don't think Leslie Russo wasn't, and now it seems as though everybody's got this new lease of life as the season's gone, and that's such a big important time in the season as well. So it's a great time for it all to come together. It's just a shame that it might be too late for the WSL this season, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. Matthew says that was Kim in full captain mode, not sideways and backwards mode. Well, yeah, that's true. He was definitely in full captain mode that day, wasn't she? Christ. John says there, true. If we win the Champions League this year, I don't think we'll have the hangover next year, because last season it was huge, as it was the first time in such a long time. But this year it wouldn't be the same. Yeah, no, that's true, I suppose. Yeah, it was out of the blue last season. Obviously, if we win it this year, it's like, we've won it again. Do you know what I mean? And you maybe accept it more easily, don't you? I mean, I think the fans would still enjoy it the same. And the players probably would as well. But yeah, I think that's probably a fair point. But let's see what happens. We've got to win it first. Right, so I just can't wait for the Champions League quarter-final time with Chelsea. Even my girls are talking about it. Let's not quite get carried away quite yet. We have got a second leg to play, but yeah, let's be honest, it's going to take something quite mad to us to get knocked out. LG says there, Stillman said it's hard for fans to accept Kim Little as a 6, since we've always associated her as a 10 or an 8, but she's definitely a 6 now. We also can't expect Steph. Can't accept Steph as a centre-back since she was a left-back. Well, I think I accept the Kim Little one, absolutely, because Kim Little was always a player who scored a lot of goals. She got forward, and that's the position, wasn't it? And I think age has been a part of that. I think as players get older, they do maybe tend to play deeper in the team anyway, and I think that's what's happened. And I think the 6th position now, where she is in her career, probably suits her anyway. And I think that's her best position now anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, did the fans not accept it? I don't know. I think fans accept most things if the player's playing well. That's what matters, isn't it? If the player's not playing well, that's the reason they're not accepting, as opposed to the position they're playing in. If Kim's not playing well, as she wasn't last season for spells, and even some parts of this season earlier on, then it's more she's not playing well, not she's in the wrong. I think Mariona is the one that I think we've all felt that she was in the wrong position. Although it's starting to work now, actually. She's starting to look a lot better in that position now, I think. She seems to be a little bit more freedom. She's getting forward a little bit more. But I don't think, as the fans, I'm not sure about Kim Little. I mean, Steph's a defender. Is she a centre-back? Naturally, no. Has she done a decent job there? Yes. We said this before, as champions of Europe and champions of the world, should we have a better centre-back partnership than Steph Catley and Lotte Wouga-Moy? Yes, we probably should. No disrespect to either of them, because they've both been fantastic players for us. Lotte's been playing brilliantly at a minute. Fantastic. But as champions that we are, should we not have slightly stronger depth in that position? I think we should, personally. And that's no disrespect to those players. But and again, I think that's more the reason. It's not that I don't think people can't accept Steph as a centre back. I think we expect a player who's a natural centre back to be playing centre back, a naturally left-footed centre back. Why can't we get one? Why can't we find one somewhere? We're Arsenal. We're the champions of everything. Why can't we find a left-footed centre back? That's a natural centre back. I think that's more the question, rather than, are we questioning because Steph's playing there? No, not really. But that's not her position, and she's had to adapt, and she's done well. But yeah, I don't know if I mean, Tim Stillman talks a lot of sense, obviously, but I don't know if he's quite got that. I don't know if he's quite read that right. I'm not sure. I don't think the fans can't accept the players playing there. It's more that we expect to have the best players that we can get in those positions. I don't think Steph is the best left-footed centre-back we could potentially get. I don't think she is. As good as a player as she's been, we need a natural player in that position, I think. And I think that's more the reason. But anyway, that's not to take away from the performances that our defenders have been producing recently, because they've all been playing well, haven't they? Let's be honest. A lot of, as we said, has been fantastic. Roy says, it can take time to adjust to being a living legend. Well, yeah, I suppose it can, actually. So yeah, maybe that's what's happened there as well. To be fair, I think after the Champions League final, they're all kind of living legends, aren't they? So maybe they've all had to adapt and adjust a little bit. But the Man City game, fantastic victory, brilliant performance, showed a different side to ourselves, and that's what I was more impressed with. The fact that we found a different way to win a big game, and I like that. A bit like the Champions League final, I really enjoyed the performance, and we might need a few more performances like that between now and the end of the season if we're going to end up, being as successful as we think we can be. And of course, after Manchester City, we had a slightly totally different experience, totally different game. Of course, Champions League over there in Belgium again. The second time we've been there this season. This turned out even better, didn't it, than the first one? So of course we played them in the group stage and we won 3-0 in that same stadium. We went back this time in the knockout stage and went one better and won 4-0. And it was, I thought, again, a really good professional performance, wasn't it? We played well, we dominated most of the game. We expected to win, I suppose, but sometimes these knockout games away from home, as we saw last season, can be difficult, can be tricky. But this one, yes, there was one or two moments at the beginning. The first goal was probably going to be important in this game. Leuven had a couple of chances, but then once we got that first goal, it kind of looked inevitable that we would get the result that we needed. But what I liked about it more than anything, I mean, obviously the vlog that you did, Andreas, was fantastic. The atmosphere, we got a really good sample of it. The brilliant support that we had there. That was probably the highlight for me. Yeah, the performance was great, and it's brilliant to get that win and pretty much seal the job there and then. But I thought the atmosphere, I mean, it must have been great to have been there because that atmosphere just seemed incredible on the night.
Yeah, the whole day, the whole night was special, and for me it was the second time in Leuven. But last time I traveled on match day, and as my train was delayed more than 3 hours, I could only head to the stadium. So this time I had the chance to go to the pre-match meetup in this Bar Vista pub. And, it's unbelievable. On a Wednesday evening in the middle of Europe, in Belgium, so many Gunners, so many away supporters, and the pub was in our hand, and the barkeeper played our songs. He played North London Forever, and the whole pub was singing. You could see it on the blog. It was just fantastic. And then we had this police escort for the fan walk. It was from the pub to the stadium. It's about 2 kilometers. And we walked through these small streets singing and chanting, and people were looking out of their window, and some were asking what's happening there. And it's just brilliant when you see we are away from home, and it's on a Wednesday evening. We had about 2,000 Arsenal supporters there in Belgium, and other teams in Germany, they are happy to have 2,000 in a home game. Yeah. I spoke with my friends from Frankfurt. They said to their last away game, they were 53 away supporters. I said, 53? Oh. Sorry, and I'm laughing. Yeah, you can't compare it. And as we sing it, Arsenal are massive everywhere we go. It was just fantastic. And then 2 blocks in the stadium, totally in our hand, and celebrating the team before the game. And I recorded after the game when we were singing and celebrating the players that went by. Frieda Arnhem, of course, Kim, of course, Lotta. And I think it gives you something from the atmosphere that was in the stadium. It was really brilliant. And of course, the result was also nearly perfect. They had one chance, and this was a brilliant save from Daphne when she tipped the ball over the bar. But over the 90 minutes, we were dominant. And I thought that Leuven would play more defensively than in December. And I thought we wouldn't take the risk and maybe win 1-0, 2-0, because there is a second leg. If you get a good result, if you don't lose the first leg or win with a small result, it's enough for the second leg. But at the moment, the team is so full of confidence, and they were hungry for more goals. 2-0 at halftime. You could say, okay, let's go 2 gears down and take this 2-0, and don't risk anything. No, they were hungry for more goals. We scored a third and a fourth goal, and could have scored a fifth in the end. So there were chances. more chances for us for a fifth goal than for Leuven for getting one back. So yeah, very good. We rested some players. We could. Steph was rested over the 90 minutes. Stina and Beth stayed at home. Leslie Russo came for the last 30 minutes and she scored. Yeah, this was brilliant. We could use the whole squad that was there, and yeah, perfect. And with the result now, we know that we can rest players for the second leg, and normally nothing serious should happen. I mean, it would be a sensation if Leuven scores 1 or 2 goals, and even then you can sub in your better players and say, okay, let's not risk anything. But normally, it's, to be fair, Leuven is on championship level, and yeah, they are not the top team in Europe. Yeah, we have to respect them. They played 6 games in the league stage and only lost to Barcelona and Arsenal. The others they drew or won, so they qualified for the knockouts. They can't be such a bad team, but our performance was really solid, and overall it was a fantastic night. You could see the atmosphere, and who hasn't watched the vlog, I would ask you watch it. I really caught the atmosphere for you, and it's a different vlog to the others because it's more about atmosphere and celebrating this massive sport in an away game.
Yeah, no, the vlog's brilliant. Actually, it's probably one of the best ones actually of the season, I think, because it does capture it really, really well. And yeah, it looked like a great night to be there. It looked like obviously a great atmosphere and a good Arsenal performance, and got the job done. And it is nice to be in this position now, isn't it, with a second leg to come where we can rest players, but there's no pressure really on us. And you know, even if we produced our worst ever performance, we're probably not going to lose 5-0 and get knocked out. So I want us to win the game. We'll talk about the second leg obviously a bit later, but I do want us to win the game. But it was a good performance, I thought. You know, I mean, Frida Marnham gets a lot of stick, and she does, and sometimes she can be a bit frustrating, but she does score goals. There's no doubt. You've got to look at her goal scoring record as a midfield player. You know, she does get goals. She knows how to finish, and you know, she had a good game again. So, you know, it was good that we were able to, like you said, to rotate the squad a bit, use different players. Leia Cadena getting a full game, unusual for her. So it's good that she's got minutes. She'll probably play in the second leg as well, I would assume. And you know, and it's good that we're in this position now. You know, 4-0 up, we can relax for the second leg. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be as comfortable as it was either. I thought that could have been potentially a banana skin. These games can be, you know, that's why we wanted to try and avoid the playoffs. No one really wants a playoff. You want to seal the job and get through straight through. So, you know, but the fact is that, you know, whether or not we wanted these extra games or not, we got the job done, and that's all you can do. And it was impressive. The goals were good. I thought, you know, we scored some good goals. Obviously, Livy getting another one. She's on fire at the minute. She can't stop scoring either. And that's always good, isn't it? As a new player coming in, she's settled in now and looks really good. So, yeah, it was another performance really in keeping with what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, really, wasn't it? We just continued it on. Another strong, solid performance. We look good defensively. You know, we creating chances. We look dangerous going forward. And again, we're doing it with the squad, not with the same 11 every week. We're rotating, and the performance levels are not dropping at all. And it's good. And that was I enjoyed the game, actually. It was nice to be relaxed a little bit. Unusually, I suppose, you know, some of the games have been a bit tense lately, but you know, to have that job done comfortably was good. And yeah, obviously, we can start to think about the 2 legs against Chelsea to come, because it looks pretty obvious that we're going to get through now. So we will. Obviously, we have got that to look forward to. It's going to be exciting, isn't it, to see how those games go. We've had the better, haven't we, of Chelsea this season? So let's hope we can do it again. But let's see. LG says there, to be fair, Steph has been decent and could be a good backup. Also, left-footed centre-backs are very rare women's football. Yeah, that's true. I suppose that's why the club value. No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I've got nothing against Steph. I like Steph, and she's played well. But you know, as you said, she'd be a great backup in that position, and that would be ideal. Absolutely, I agree with you. John says, I knew we'd be Leuven the stadium with the. I knew I see what you mean. Yeah, Leuven. Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, leaving the stadium. G1 says, what allocation would we get at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League? I would imagine it would be probably similar to what we got in the league game there, wouldn't it? We'll probably have the same section, I would imagine, behind that goal, the sort of half of that. I don't know. Would they give us the whole end because it's Champions League? I'm not sure. We'd probably better fill it, wouldn't we? Let's be honest. I'm not sure actually. What I would have assumed it would have been the same as the league game. That same section behind the goal and that sort of half of that end. I don't know if it is. It'd be interesting to see actually whether we get more of an allocation because it's Champions League. It'd be nice because I mean we'll be able to fill it more than Chelsea will. Our fans will be able to fill that stadium two times over. Anyway, LG says, I love Liv's dark arts of intentionally getting herself booked. It's better to miss the second leg when you're already falling up. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Whether that was a reason, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. There we go. Once again says, I don't agree. Our defence is good enough to win the WSL apart from Hines. All our defenders are top class. No, I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying they're not good enough. But if we're champions of Europe, we're champions of the world, you would expect us to have defenders of a slightly higher level. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the defenders that we've got. Absolutely not. Look at our defensive record. We've got the best defensive record in the WSL. But when you look at the status of the club now, you would expect that we wouldn't be playing Steph Catley and Lotta Ruben-Moy as our two first-choice centre-backs for most of this season. Yeah, okay, Leah Williamson's been out. Obviously, she would play if she's fit. I mean, she has been now. But I don't know. I'm not saying anything against the individual players that we've got. You just expect that we should have better players in the squad in those positions, I think. If we're going to be a serious contender, I think that's what we need, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're doing all right with what we've got in a minute, aren't we? LG says there is Reutler an upgrade on Marnham as a rotational option. Well, I mean, I'd say as a rotational option, why do we need to... Frida Marnham's a good rotational option as she is, isn't she? She can come off, she can start games, she can come off the bench, she can score goals. She's a good rotation option anyway, Marnham. If we're going to put Reutler in as well, absolutely, why not? Don't get rid of Frida Marnham to bring someone else in to do the same job that Frida Marnham can do, but maybe not as well. I don't know. I don't see that as an upgrade. I wouldn't see Reutler as an upgrade on Marnham. I would say both of them in the squad. Why not? More options. This is what we need, isn't it? I mean, would you say Reutler would be an upgrade on Frida Marnham?
No, another option, yes, but not an upgrade. And what we need is an upgrade. Frida Marnham is a very good player, and as you said, Richard, she scores a lot of goals for a midfielder. But definitely in Europe there are better options for an offensive midfielder, and I would like to see an upgrade on her. I just want to add 2 points to the Leuven game. This save from Daphne van Domselaar, when she tipped the ball over the bar. I'm sure that with Manu Zinsberger in goal, this would have been a goal for Leuven. This is one of the situations where she would stood on the line and watch the ball flying over her and into the goal. And Daphne is flying and tipping it over the bar. Anneke Bobbe would have saved this ball probably too. She was in a very good run in the last games too. So this is one point. And the second point we shouldn't forget is Kim Little made her 400th appearance for the club. Yeah. 400 competitive games for one club. It's unbelievable. And we said a lot about Kim today, but this is something we should mention. It's really legendary what she has done, and she's not in the late autumn of her career. I read an article where Renee spoke about Kim and said she was talking with Kim and said, "You are not getting older every year; you're getting better." and that's the strange thing. I mean, beginning of last year, we were criticizing her. Me too. I said it looks as if she lost her legs, and we should manage her minutes, or maybe she's only a squad player. And this season, she's better than the last 1 or 2 years. So she was, as this article said when he spoke about Kim. Kim is working on herself. She's the first on the training pitch. She's the first in the gym. She's working on nutrition, on everything. And otherwise, you couldn't perform on this level at the age of 35. And I really hope she stays for at least 1 more year. She's a her performance is fantastic, and yeah, I think we should really mention this 400 games, competitive games for one club. This is just a fantastic achievement.
It is, absolutely it is. I mean, when you think she did leave in the middle as well for a spell, so you know it's incredible that she's played 400 games. In a way, it was a shame that maybe it came in a game that was already done and dusted, I suppose. You know, coming off the bench in a game that we're winning comfortably, seeing a little bit of an anti-climax, maybe you know, away from home in Europe, where maybe if it had been at the Emirates against Man City, I know you can't pick when the game comes around, a 401, but you know, maybe it was a shame it wasn't a bigger occasion for it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, 400 games is incredible. Is an incredible achievement, and you know she's still got a few more left in her. I'm sure, you know, she may even make it to 500. Yeah, who knows? You know, it wouldn't surprise me if she does, because she, you know, I think last season she was struggling with injuries, wasn't she? And I think she was playing through injuries, and you could see she wasn't anywhere near her level. And maybe we all kind of felt maybe that she was reaching the end, but this season, you know, it seems. I think I said it during the Man City game that we're still. A 35-year-old player is still so important, and in a way that can't be a good thing, but equally, how is it not a good thing when she's doing what she's doing week in after week? So it's a strange one in a way, isn't it? Because we shouldn't really be relying on a player like Kim Little now, you know, at her age, but what she's producing on the pitch week in, week out is incredible. How fit she is, you know, what work that she puts in is just amazing. So yeah, 400 games, and I think there's going to be quite a few more to come. And you know, Renee's right. You know, she does seem to be getting. I mean, certainly this season she's got a much better than she was last season. There's no doubt. I mean, she's back to almost to her best now, isn't she? In a different role, obviously, in the team now that she plays. But yeah, brilliant. But yeah, 400 games. Yeah, well done to Kim, and look, so many of those games are memorable performances from her, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more memorable ones to come in the rest of her career as well, which doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon, does it? At the minute, so that's good. Roy says, Man City 5-0. Yeah, we kind of expected that, didn't we? Let's be honest. LG says Frida is too frustrated, very clumsy in possession, and takes poor touches. I've always reiterated that if she doesn't score, what does she offer? I wouldn't be bothered if she leaves. Well, no, but I mean, what she offers is a good option when she plays. She does score goals, and at the end of the day, you say if she doesn't score, what else does she offer? Well, scoring goals is the most important thing in football, and she scored some important goals as well. It's not like she's scoring goals when we're 4-0 up, an easy time to score. No, she's getting opening goals. She's putting us ahead in games. She's equalising in games. She's scoring in big games. You know, she scored. Look at the big game that she scored in, Frida Marnham. And I think that's what she offers. And yes, I agree. Sometimes she does look a little bit frustrated. Sometimes you think, oh, that was a terrible touch. But then other times she'll do something incredible. She'll score a goal from 25 yards in the top corner, you know, in a big Champions League game and things like this. And that's what she offers. So I think she's an important player in the squad. I'm not saying she should be starting games every week. No, she shouldn't. But when she does play, whether she does start a game like she did the other night, scored a couple of goals, or whether she's coming off the bench in other games, she does offer something. It's not just a goal scoring threat. Yes, that's an important part of her game, but I think she offers an option. And that I think most teams in the WSL would be quite happy. Most teams in Europe would be quite happy to have Frida Marnham as in their squad to come off the bench and do what she does and impact games in the way that she does. So I don't want her to leave at all. I like Frida. I think she offers a lot, and I think she's an important player for us. And yeah, I don't think if we're going to be starting to rotate, well, not rotate the squad, improve the squad, get rid of some players, bring other players in. Frida wouldn't be one near the top of my list to get rid of. There's other players well ahead of her that we should get rid of first before thinking of getting rid of. I think before getting rid of Frida, because Frida, there's not many players in European football from midfield that score a number of goals that she does. So that's important. That's an important factor, and I think that is what she offers, and that is important. So, LG says the fact that she's retired from international football 5 years ago is a big factor. Obviously, with Kim, why she's still, yeah, absolutely. I think that's made a big difference. Kim made a decision, didn't she? She'd rather have retired from international football so that she could prolong her club career at Arsenal. And clearly it's worked. It was the right decision for her. But yeah, that's made a big difference. It's less games, less travelling, you know, makes a big difference when you get to that age. And I think other players will probably follow a similar way retirement. I mean, look at some of the Chelsea players, Millie Bright, for example, retirement in national football. I think a lot of other players will see that and think, you know, if we want to prolong our club career, Frank Kirby, people like that. So, yeah, I think that's what that was. One thing says, big up Andreas, with Mead and Steiner injured and Smith suspended, we only got Ford, Russo, Kelly left in those positions for the Leuven game. Will we risk our best players or play players out of positions? And that's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, we've got, if we're going to have players missing for that game, at least get them missing for that game when there's not much pressure on us really to win. I mean, do you think? I mean, we'll talk about the Leuven game in a minute. We want to talk about the Brighton game first because that's coming up first. We will talk about it actually because that is a good point. So we'll see. We've got Grat with us, seen you for a while. Whereas the Champions League final is going to be, it's in Oslo, isn't it, this year?
Yeah,
so
in Oslo and in Norway.
Yeah,
and I'm just looking for the date, 23rd of May.
Yeah, and Agneta says there 23rd of May. Yeah. Exactly. So that'll be good, won't it? Somebody going says now Frida ain't good enough, but Stanway ain't better. Well, I think Stanway is better, but different type of player in a different sort of position and role in the team. I think Stanway is better. Actually, I'd like to have both, obviously. Srivar says, has Andreas got his Champions League final ticket yet? You're going to risk it and get one yet, or are you going to wait a bit more? You've got to wait a bit more.
I haven't got the ticket. I'll wait a while. Let's first go through Leuven and then face Chelsea. If we go through against Chelsea, maybe I will risk and buy a ticket. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, let's at least get past Chelsea first because obviously Chelsea is going to be tough. We know that. So of course we've had another good week, 2 good wins, and we've got another big week to come. Of course, starting at the weekend, a game that is one of those potential banana skin games, isn't it? The sort of game that we often we tend to beat Brighton, but we often drop points in these type of games, don't we? But let's see how we might get on this weekend. So yeah, I mean, back down to earth in a way after the couple of big WSL games in a row against the top teams. Now we're playing a team that don't have a good team, Brighton. They can beat anyone on their day, but it's a less glamorous game. So this for me is a big test to see whether or not we can continue to raise our game even when the game's not as technically not as glamorous, I suppose, is the best way to look at it. It's still an important game. Obviously, we need to win. And yes, we've got a reasonably good record away at Brighton. I know last season this is one of the games at the end of last season, wasn't it, when we were resting players and we took a bit of a beating there. But generally, we've done well there. Actually, I'm not looking too much on last season's game because there was factors, as we know. But again, potentially it is a banana skin game, isn't it? We've dropped points against teams like Brighton plenty of times over the last few years. So I'm certainly not taking it for granted. But I think with the form that we're in, yes, we don't know Stina's fitness at the minute. She's been out a couple of games. We know Beth's out. She's got a stress fracture. So that's not good news when she's been playing so well. Obviously, Chloe Kelly coming back in maybe compensates for that a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, despite obviously 1 or 2 players missing and this, that and the other, obviously, we're going to go to Brighton and be favourites to win the game. It's a game that we should realistically be looking at winning if we're a serious team. We need it for the top 3 anyway. We've got ourselves above Chelsea and we want to keep ourselves above them, don't we? So we have to win this game, but it won't be easy, will it, Andreas? I mean, what are your thoughts on this game? Obviously, we're going to have to find a way to lift our game, aren't we, after all these massive games that we've played in the last couple of weeks where we've been able to do it. Can we do it again for a game where there's not so much excitement around it?
That's it. We have to switch our minds from the big games. There was Chelsea, there was City, there was Champions League, and now it's back to normal business, to daily business. And we only won 1-0, if I remember correctly, at home against Brighton. And you mentioned last season we lost there 4-2, and I just checked the results this year after the Christmas break. They lost 2-1 to Villa, then 1-0 at home. They lost to they won against Everton 1-0 away. Then they lost at home against LCL 2-1, and last match day they lost 3-2 to West Ham. So it's an opponent that we should beat. They are one of the lower mid table teams, but if you look at their squad, a few names: Jelena Cankovic, who came from Chelsea as a strong midfielder, and we all know the legend Fran Kirby. She's still able to do some magic things. And Fran Kirby is a player I always liked very much, although she was wearing blue. The style or the way she's playing, it's really great. And they have this Japanese Kiko Seike in the attacking line. So it's, as I say, it's back to normal business, and that our team has to prove that they don't underestimate a team like Brighton. And and once again, to come to René's words, that the team knows it really matters for the daily business to win away at Brighton. But for us, looking at our last game, 3 times we kept the clean sheet. 2 great opponents, and the away game in the Champions League, 3 games in a row with the clean sheets. This should give our defense confidence. Whoever's playing, I think Leah will start. She should be ready to start, and then let's see what we can get out of the of the reduced squad, but without Beth, without Stina. But anyway, I think Vicky Pelova had a better game in Leuven, and also in this Champions Cup. She got some minutes, and you could see that she's really trying to find her way back in the team. She was so much trying and trying to offer or waving that give me the ball, I want to try something. So it's another game where players can prove themselves, players that have not played so much, as we have some injury concerns. Laia Codina had a very good game in Leuven, and the games before she was subbed in as a number 6, as a holding midfielder, and she said in the press conference before Leuven that she likes these challenges. So, if you like challenges, then go out and prove yourself in a game that's not on the big stage. But we need the 3 points. We are competing for a top 3 spot, and if we win all our remaining games, what should be possible, then we will finish second. As I see Man City winning the league, but we can finish second, and that would bring us directly to the league stage in the Champions League without any qualification. So, a lot said now, but for me, this is an important game, and let's take the 3 points. Chelsea would laugh about us if we lose 2 points away at Brighton. No. Don't let others laugh about us. Let's continue strong and take the 3 points. And I think we should do. We kept the clean sheet for 3 games, so I think we will keep one in Brighton. And I say we are winning 2-0. That's my prediction for Sunday.
Yeah, and I think that would be, we wouldn't have too many complaints about a nice 2-0 win. I mean, to be honest with you, every game now is important anyway. And I think that with the big challenges ahead, I mean, likely to be playing Chelsea, obviously, very shortly in the Champions League, I think we need the momentum of keeping on winning anyway, regardless of the result of that's going to be. We're going to, keep ourselves in that top 3 positions in the table. But I think the momentum from that is really important now. So we've built it up. We need to keep it going, and we can't afford a lax in concentration in a game and do something silly and drop points. So, I'm expecting a professional performance against Brighton, and I think we will get the job done. I don't think it's going to be easy. No games are easy really anymore, are they? There's always, there's always a potential banana skin coming around the corner, I suppose. But no, I think we will win. I think we'll get the job done. 2-0 seems like a fair good prediction. I'm thinking maybe 2-1 potentially. Brighton may get a goal, but I think we will be too strong in the end, and I do think we'll get the job done. And yeah, it's, to me, it's no less important this game than the Man City game was last week. It's no less important than the Chelsea game the week before. It's the same importance because it's still 3 points have to be won. So yeah, we have to approach it in the same manner. And if we do, I'm sure we'll win. And then yeah, we'll be on the march, which is what we need. So yeah, 1 or 2 injury problems, but it could have come out. It's probably come out a good time if we're going to get them at this with these couple of games that we've got coming this week, rather than later on when we've got some really important big games that we're going to need a full squad for. So yeah, but no, I think we'll win on Sunday. Yeah, I'll go 2-1. I'll go 3-1. I think we'll get 3. I'll go 3-1 instead of 2-1. One somebody going says, does second skip qualification? Yeah, the second qualifier is automatically. Yeah. So as we did this season, didn't we? Because we came second last year, so be the same again. But yeah, I think we'll beat Brighton, and I think that we'll get that job done. John says City now 6-0 up. Yeah, well, we know they're going to win that game. We're not worried about that game. There's other games they might slip up in that we'll be more excited about should that happen. But we can't worry about City now, can we? We did our job last week. We beat them. That's all we can do. We have to win our games and hope that somewhere along the line they completely fall apart and lose game after game. They haven't got the Champions League, of course, which is going to help them, I suppose, in the league. But anyway, let's see what happens. But I don't know. Yeah, they will probably win the league. I think you're right. So yeah, I think Brighton will go our way. Not easy, but I think we'll get the job done. It will be too strong for them. And of course, after Brighton, it is that second leg, which almost seems like a pointless game to play in many ways, but we've got to play it, and it's going to give maybe some squad players an opportunity to get on the pitch. So yeah, obviously, it looks as though the game's as good as the tie is as good as over after that first leg performance. So I'm pretty certain we will see some more squad rotation. We'll come back to that question, obviously, that was asked earlier from 170 Gunner about will we go with the more experienced players? Will we play players out of position to compensate for 1 or 2 injuries? Will we throw one of the younger players in the team maybe? I don't think it will be much different to that first leg team personally. I think it depends, obviously, any injuries from Brighton and what team we pick there. I mean, do you think there'll be many changes at Andreas to that first leg? I don't think there'll be too many, will there? Obviously, Beth won't be able to play.
Yeah, I think Laia Codina will start again and normally get the full 90 minutes. I think we will see Smiller start this time, and of course Vicky and probably Frida will get starts, and then normally we should be 1-0, 2-0 up at halftime, and then there will be rotation. Maybe Sophie Harwood will get a full second half or 30 minutes. First Champions League minutes for her. That's possible, and there's not much possibility or not many options to rotate if you have a lot of injured players. And we heard that Beth and Stina will be out until the international break. So how many players do you have to rotate? It's not much done, but a few, as I said, Laia, Smiller, Vicky, maybe Sophie Harwood. Yeah, let's see. And it only counts to go through and get the job done. It will be not the best attendance. I think maybe it's sold out, but it will be between 2,500 and 3,000 at best attendance at Meadow Park. Anyway, I will be there because I want to support the team and I want to enjoy it. And I think we'll see another decent win, but maybe another 2-0, not too many goals, and it doesn't matter as long as Leuven doesn't get the lead 2 or 3 goals and we are running behind, then everything's okay. Just get the job done, and no injuries, please, in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's the key, isn't it? We don't certainly not any more injuries, do we, at this point? But yeah, get the job done is what it's about. Rest and rotate, bring players off the bench when the job's done, and give people minutes and stuff like that. I think that's what we need to do. Manage the game well. LG says my preferred 11 for Brighton would be DVD, Fox, Lotta Rubenmeyer, Catley McCabe, Little, KCC, Mariona, Kelly, Russo, and Smith. Leah is still coming back from injury, and this game is higher stakes than Leuven. Well, no, it is higher stakes, but I mean, it looks like Leah's fit. She played some minutes. That means she's fit to play. I think Brighton's a big game, as you said, absolutely right. But so you play your best players in that game, and you rest Leah for the Leuven game, because we don't really need him in that game because the job's pretty much done. I would play her against Brighton and rest her against Leuven. That would be my choice, because the Brighton game is more important. Absolutely. So play your strongest team available in that game. That's what I would say, and rest people, rotate and stuff for the second leg, which, you know, barring some unbelievable miracle that I've never ever seen happen in football before, you know, we'd be through, won't we? John's gone. He's going 4-0. Oh wow, 4-0 against Brighton. That's a good prediction. I like it. It seems a little bit optimistic, maybe, but who knows? Where we're playing at the minute, we can probably beat anybody 4-0 if we want to. And Top Job says their Gunners are so lucky they can switch players up front depending on the competition. That's a big plus. Yeah, that's our biggest. That's the strongest part of our squad, isn't it? The forward players, I think. We've got more depth there. We can rotate and rest. But at the minute, we've got a couple of injuries there, of course, with Beth and Steen, as we've said, which doesn't help at this moment in time. But yeah, when everybody's fit, we've got so many options up front, haven't we? You know, we've seen Livy Smith can come in and play centre forward if necessary. You know, obviously, Leslie can. We know Leslie's good there as well. Stina can play there when she's fit. So we've got plenty of options, absolutely. And John says, I think he's going 4-1 against Leuven. They could have had one at there, so I'll give them one in this game. Yeah, they could have had one, absolutely. One thing says, Lotta's been good. I don't think she'll be dropped. I don't think it's a matter of dropping a player, is it? It's a matter of using your squad and rotating and resting players. You know, I don't think if Lotta doesn't play on Sunday, or she doesn't play in the second leg, it's not because she's been dropped out of the team. It's because we're just resting players, aren't we, for other games? You know, you have to do that. No one can play every single game. And, you know, I think that now with Leah back fit again, we've got the option now, haven't we, to rest some of our defenders. Before, we couldn't really do much because we didn't have enough fit defenders. And now Leah's back, it makes a big difference. So, yeah, LG says, I've realised why Arsenal value Lotta because of our homegrown quota. Well, I don't think that's the reason. I think she offers a lot, doesn't she? We've seen how well she's been playing. But, yeah, I mean, we should obviously beat Leuven at home. I can't see any other result. You know, we've seen them twice this season against us. They haven't really offered that much. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. They're 4-0 down. They've got nothing to lose, I guess, and they'll just come and probably have a go, because what difference does it make now? You know, they've got to score some goals. They might as well come and play attacking football, which might open the game up and make it more of an exciting game to watch, potentially, because, you know, there's no point in coming to Meadow Park on Wednesday and just sitting back and defending. There's no point of doing that, because they're already 4-0 down, so they might as well go out and play some football. And if they do, of course, we could pick them off and get a few goals. So it could be another big win, potentially. Or maybe we'll play a slightly strange team that hasn't played together very much, and we might be a bit disjointed and not really get going, and we may find it more of a struggle. But I think we'll win. I've been seeing us play them twice this season already. 7 goals we've scored and none against. I can't see anything other than a fairly comfortable Arsenal win in the end. I'll go 3-0, I think, on Wednesday. Nice and easy, nice and comfortable. Job done. 7-0 on aggregate. Lovely job. And Chelsea will be waiting for you again, to look forward to beating you again, hopefully. So yeah, it's 2 games that obviously would be massive favourites to win this week, and we should win them both, let's be honest. But it's this old issue, isn't it, of can we raise our game in the less glamorous games? That's what we need to show that we can. And we can get these 2 games done and won. And then obviously we can look ahead to some of the bigger tests that obviously will be coming in the next sort of 2 or 3 months as the season gets towards its finale. But yeah, we seem to be in a good place now, don't we? Building up momentum. It's been good. we're playing some nice football. We're scoring some goals now. We're defending really well as a team. We're looking solid, and yeah, everything at the minute is. We've spent plenty of time on the show moaning a little bit this season for, I think rightly so, for some of the things that's happened. But at the moment, it's all going very well. We're playing really good stuff. We're looking as though we're going to be heading for something really big at the end of the season, one way or the other. And let's see how it goes. Matthew says, wait, where is the Chelsea dude that likes to pop in? Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, there was no. Funny that, isn't it? We beat Chelsea. Chelsea get beaten by Man City, and suddenly our little Chelsea fan doesn't show up in the show anymore. I wonder why. It's a shame actually, because I quite like them to come back. And at the end of the day, you lose games and you win games. You can't just disappear because you've lost a few. That's no good. LG said it's the same issue with the men's team. We drop our level playing the lower team. Yeah, to a certain degree, that's true. And I do think that's. It's probably an issue everywhere. You even look at the top teams in the men's league, Man City and stuff like that. Even they sometimes have struggles against some of the smaller teams. And it must be difficult because, certain games have a lot more pressure on them. And some teams revel in that pressure. We seem to, don't we? Because we're playing these big games. We seem to raise our level. We can deal with that pressure. We enjoy it. Maybe we don't enjoy it so much when there's not as much pressure and we almost sink down and go through the motions. It seems a little bit. I'm not saying that's what happens, but it seems that way. And I think it's difficult to keep your level up against everybody. And I think even Chelsea, when they've been successful in the women, have still, they've dropped some silly points in games you'd expect them to win, even though they go on and win the league. So I do think it's hard for everyone. But we need to make sure we get play necessarily. It'd be nice to keep playing some good football, but it's important that we just get the job done, get the 3 points, and then move on to the next one, which actually is the FA Cup, of course, the weekend after. But we will need to go a long way in that, don't we? So we'll talk about that, of course, on next week's show. So yeah, it's a good moment at the minute, and I'm pleased that now we can enjoy it again, because it's been quite frustrating. It's been difficult to enjoy a lot of this season, but now the last 3 or 4 weeks have been brilliant and it's been great. The weather's been terrible, but the football's been good finally, and it's been nice to see the team playing so well, looking together and putting all those problems from earlier in the season behind us. And I say building momentum now, what is such a crucial part to be built. I'd rather be playing well now when all these brilliant things are coming, and playing well at the start of the season and dropping away in the second half when it matters. We're better off doing it the other way. We're better off doing it the whole season, of course. But if we're going to drop off, have a drop off early in the season, not later on when everything's more important. So let's keep this going. Let's win these next 2 games, and then we'll be in an even better place. And looking ahead to hopefully bigger and better things that's going to be coming up, I'm sure. So yes, it's been. Well, I mean, I say it's been a busy week for the team. It's been a busy week for Andreas, of course, flying all over the place to watch these games. So you're back to London on Wednesday, are you?
Yeah, of course, I have to be. I'm coming on Wednesday and leaving on Thursday again. So just for this game, yeah. But I have to be there. As I said, I want to support the team, and yeah, there's nothing better than being in the stadium and supporting your team, soaking in the atmosphere. And even at Meadow Park, with a lower attendance, it will be a good atmosphere and a good game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then I have a few weeks rest. I was tempted to go to the LCL away game, but I can't do it. So I'll have then West Ham and Champions League quarterfinals, the North London derby. So in March it will continue, but after next week's Leuven game, I have a short break to rest at home.
A break has been well needed, I think, as well, after the travelling that you've done over the last few weeks. Certainly, it's been a busy time, but it's been good, isn't it? Because we're getting better performances, which is good to see. John says there, teams can definitely drag you down to their level with low blocks, stoppages, and dark arts. Yeah, they can, but you've got to be able to rise above that, haven't you? Top teams do find a way to. I'm not saying you can expect to play brilliant football every week. No, what you need to do is when that happens and the other teams play like that, you've got to just find a way to win and just win the game, and then dust yourself down and go on the next one and forget it. LG says Renee was definitely about to cook something when she offered a hand of apology after the Man United Cup exit. Well, yeah, obviously since that game, we've played a lot better, haven't we? So maybe the penny maybe dropped in that game in some way for everybody. I don't know. But yeah, we've certainly improved a lot since that performance, which wasn't great. And that was the time when we were seen to be one good game, one bad game, seemed to be a regular occurrence. And now we're putting together a series of good games. So that's what maybe sometimes you need a defeat, don't you? Because I mean, that's our only defeat, that Man United game, isn't it? That's our only defeat since the Bayern Munich game in the Champions League, isn't it? I think that's the only game we've lost since then. So that's a long run, and that's the only game we've lost. We can't really grumble, but it's just some of the performances haven't been good enough until recently. So, but yeah, maybe that's what we needed. Maybe we needed that defeat in a way. It seems bad because it's a cup game that we wanted to win, but maybe it's done us a favour long term. Let's see. But yeah, it's gone well since then, hasn't it? So long may that continue. So yes, it's been a good week. I say it's going to be another busy week. So thank you guys for joining us as always. We'll be back, of course, next week to look back on the Leuven game, to look back on the Brighton game, and of course look ahead to it's Bristol City, isn't it, in the FA Cup? So that's going to be interesting. Slightly different opposition again. We've got to try and find a way to raise our level to beat them, which I'm sure we will. And yeah, things are starting to get exciting now, aren't they? You know, obviously the Chelsea Champions League game hopefully will be coming up very shortly as well. It's exciting stuff, isn't it? It's what we want. You know, you want these big games, don't you? So yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments as always. Thanks to Andreas again for spending time out of his jet setting life to spend some time with us on a Friday, which is always nice. Have you enjoyed the show again?
Yeah, of course. It always was a pleasure to talk with you and with our viewers, and I enjoyed the show and being here again. Yeah, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yes, because lots of exciting things to come. I'm sure there will be, definitely. And don't forget, if you haven't checked out the vlog from the Leuven game, definitely check that one out because it's really, really good. I say the atmosphere that you get from that is brilliant, and I'm sure that the second leg will be just as exciting as well for the atmosphere as well. So there we go. Top Shelf says thanks again. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, and yourself. Enjoy the weekend. Of course, there is some football to enjoy as always. It's going to be good, isn't it? Hopefully we won't get the snow that's predicted. We've got some snow predicted this weekend here. Let's hope that stays away and we can enjoy the football, of course. John says, cheers, guys. Enjoy the next games. Up the Gunners. Indeed, we've got some lots to look forward to. Yeah, so the weekend can officially start now, as it always does when the show finishes on a Friday. So enjoy the weekend. Hopefully we'll enjoy the football. I'm sure we will. Thanks to you guys for joining us. Thank you, of course, to Andreas, as always, for joining us as well. We'll see you. Actually, I'm trying to think if I can do the game Sunday. I might be able to do the game Sunday, actually, the Brighton game. I'll see. I might be able to. So if I can, I'll see you on Sunday for the game. If not, of course, I'll be here Wednesday night for the Champions League game. We'll do that one, definitely. Actually, assuming I can get a stream of it, because it's quite difficult to get the stream of the Champions League game. But anyway, we'll see what we can do. If not, we'll be here next Friday anyway, regardless. So we'll see you then. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the football. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it. Let's keep this going. Good stuff. We'll see you soon, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.